Good morning and welcome to the show, and thanks for waking up with us today. Today we have a special gentleman here in the studio who's kind of a local treasure. You might have heard of him, Ricky Steele. I call him a local artist, but he's actually a nationally renowned artist and travels quite a bit to art shows and whatnot to sell your artwork, I suppose, and to display your art.
Yes, sir.
Welcome
yes.
to the show, Ricky. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I know I had admired your work at the Spring Festival of the Arts.
Okay.
There, and I was like, wow, this is some interesting stuff.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now you're a native of Panama City, right?
Born and raised right
Yeah.
here in Panama City. Big family, 11 brothers, 3 sisters.
Holy mackerel!
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when did you start with your art? When did you start?
I think from day one, you know, I always had a love for it. I was one of those kids that doodle a lot, you know, and I realized that I think that anybody can be an artist. I think it's just a passion, you know, as you continue to do something more and more, you get better and better at it. I think some people are natural at it because they just love it. I think I was a natural because I just love doing it. You know, we grew up poor, so you know, a lot of times you had to find other things to keep your mind occupied. So, you know, I did a lot of drawing. You know, I was kind of like the weird kid that when everybody else was playing, I was drawing. You know, and they looked at me as being like weird. You know, like, oh man, you know, what are you doing? Come on outside, we playing football. I said, go ahead, I'm gonna do this. You know, so that was it.
So you've done it for all these years, and now you're enjoying a level of success with your artwork, which is just great.
God has been good. It's been my ministry, as I say. My art is, I'm called the emotional painter because everything I do it sparks an emotion. My work speaks about poverty, change in the world, love. It just covers a whole gamut of different.
Yeah, these are prints, but they started out, I guess, watercolors. Is that what your primary
I do
medium?
I work in all mediums. Most shows I participate in, I'm in the mixed medium category because I may have pencil or Bob Favor. Miss Lee over there, Miss Taylor, they're good friends. You know, they really encouraged me. Then I went on to study under the late great James Chichester, who was a big inspiration to me. He just kind of took me under his wing, and he just told me, I'm gonna make you great, and he did it. I wish he would have lived long enough to have seen me get to this place, you know, but that wasn't in the cards. But he really left me with, you know, just some inspiring thoughts, and just, you know, he took me in, you know, like as a son, you know. He said, I'm gonna make you one of the greatest African-American artists, not just in this area, but in the country. And I said, thank you. You know, that's what he told me. That was his exact words. I said, wow.
It sounds like you just ran with it from there.
Yeah. I used to go to his studio and watch him paint, and he painted like on a scale of little canvas, big canvas. He just put a little on this one, and he did like an assembly line, and I really love that. And that my style is a lot like that. I may be working on a piece, and I get bored when I move it out of the way and get another piece and work on it. Or if I'm in a happy mood, I do only happy paintings that day. If I'm sad or whatever, I do sad pieces that day. So, you know, like I said, his legacy lives on in me.
So it's a great outlet for you, as well as a gift to those of us who enjoy your art.
Yes.
We have to run off to the local weather.
Okay.
But on the other side of this break, I want to take a look at some of your artwork here, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you were thinking about when you were creating these beautiful things.
Okay, brother.
And we'll be right back with Ricky Steele after your Waking Up With Don weather. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Ricky Steele, local yet nationally renowned artist, right here from Panama City native. The whole deal. Ricky, I know you're quite successful as an artist now, and I know I talked about what goes into these things when you put them together, like this portrait, for instance, of this young black child here. What were you thinking when
I was watching a show, and it was talking about like homeless kids. The name of that piece is "They Shall Hunger No More." That's from in the Bible over in Revelations. It speaks about it come a time that God will heal the world, and you know, people won't hunger anymore. If you look real closely, you have to look. There's little blowflies on his lips and on his clothing and everything. And most of my pictures, when you are at one of my events, they have a caption up on them that talks about, you know, that piece. It'll, you know, it'll say like, "They shall hunger no more." They tell about there'll come a time when God will heal the world. And you know, throughout my travels, I find that there will always be poor people, but there will come a day that they shall hunger no more. So most of my pieces will
So
have.
this is no one in particular. This is just emblematic
Yes.
of hunger in the world, and it could be some third world country. It could be right here in the U.S.
I donated one of these to the Okaloosa Community College, which is now no longer called that, and they raised money. And to my understanding, they raised more off that piece. I had given one many years ago. It was framed. And they raised more money off that donation than anything else.
Wow.
So,
it's just beautiful work, and
thank you very much.
You can tell just a lot of thought and emotion went into it. Now, what's going on here?
That's called food rations. I was reading. It's certain villages at that particular time when I created this piece where they were giving food aid, and the helicopters would bring in the food and they drop them. They drop them, and each village would have to send a young representative to get their box. And you notice he's got a box, well, the way the villagers were punished, if they sent an adult, then the plane would keep going because they knew an adult could carry more than one box. So they were only allowed to send one child because he could only carry the weight of one box. So I thought that was strong. So if you look on this right here, say emergency food rations. So that touched me. That story touched me about the food.
Yeah, so that's one way of ensuring you only get one box is send someone small. Now let me flip this around so we can get a better look. I didn't realize we had that there, but no, what's going on with this one here?
That's called I Surrender to Your Will. That piece was the best of show piece at the Bay Annual. That was my first, I would say, major award here at the Bay Annual that won best of show. I Surrender to Your Will. I used to wonder why when you go in churches and you see people do like this right here, why they had their hands up. And I asked the minister one time, I said, what does that mean? You know, why? You know, I was a little boy, and he said they surrender. He said, you know how you go on a bank and somebody rob and they say, stick up, and you say, okay, I surrender. He said, that's the same thing they're doing. They surrendering to God. I
so
said,
you're just
wow.
Submitting to God's will.
I surrender to your will.
Yeah, that's beautiful too. Now this is just an adorable picture. You know, a little white girl, a little black girl skipping and running along as sisters.
Yeah, this piece is one of my first pieces to go nationwide, get nationwide attention. Actually trying to do some T-shirts with this image. It's called As Sisters because Dr. Martin Luther King said they should walk together as sisters and brothers. And I have a piece called And Brothers. It's got a big, tall white kid and a little bitty black boy. They're walking, and the big white kid got his arm around his shoulders. You know,
what a wonderful message. And I like, you know, you don't really see their faces, so it could be your kid.
Exactly.
It could be anybody's kid.
A lot of people that buy this piece, like best friends, like white lady and black lady who best friends, they have me to actually put their name on it. They'll have me to sign their name on it and everything, or put it on the glass. If it's framed, they'll have me to write it on the glass. You know,
what a positive, nice thing to do to preserve a friendship. I mean, that's wonderful. And this thing is just this is just a beautiful thing here as well.
A pencil drawing, the Wisdom Bearer. I was commissioned by a 5th grade teacher at Oakland Terrace. She said that this was her nanny when she was growing up. She was she really shared a good story with me because she said that they brought this lady over from her country because her dad had actually, remember the movie The Toy?
Sure.
She asked her dad, can I have that lady? He said, you can't have that lady. You know, she said, why not? You know, she said, you can't have her. But they asked her, did she have any ties there in that country? And she said she didn't.
So that was her
nanny. So they brought her over, and she lived here until she passed away. She came over to the United States and lived there with her and her family.
Ricky Steele, thank you so much for the uplifting work that you do and the inspiration that you bring to thousands, maybe millions of people with your beautiful art.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
God bless you.
You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll be right back.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Time to Hack Tuesdays. So for today's hack, I was thinking of something that a lot of people would use in their kitchen. And one of the most popular breakfast foods is eggs. So for today, I'm going to show you how to figure out if your eggs are still good to eat. A lot of people might not remember the date that they purchased it or wondering if the expiration date, if it can be pushed a little bit or not. So one way to do this is you're going to get a cup or a glass of cold water. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to drop the egg in. Now if it sinks to the bottom, that means that it's good to eat. If it ends up floating or bobbing, that means it's time to throw it away and get some new eggs. A way to extend the life of your eggs, there's a little trick you can use, and that is vegetable oil. By taking your vegetable oil, putting a little bit on a napkin, and coating your eggs before you put them in the fridge, this will help extend the life of your eggs by 2 to 4 weeks. So you almost get a whole nother month out of your eggs. Who doesn't want that? Another thing that a lot of people find to have problems with is when they're cracking the eggs. They'll crack them and they'll end up having shells inside the egg yolks, and trying to get them out can be a pain. So one little tip you can use is you crack it, say I'll get some eggshells in there. What you can do to get out the eggshells is, one, you can wet your finger and it will help attach the eggshell to your finger. Another way to go about it is you take half of the eggshell and it acts like a magnet to the cracked piece of eggshell that is stuck in your egg yolk, and it will connect to it. So this is another easy way to extract the eggshells without losing a lot of the egg. Some people prefer to have egg whites. Now, a way to get just the egg white without the yolk, a lot of people before would toss the egg back and forth in between the shells and let the egg yolk fall. Yes, that is a way to do it. However, it's time consuming. Now, I have a hack to be able to remove the yolk really simple, and that is with using a water bottle. That's it, an empty water bottle. What you're going to do is you're going to take the opening of the egg bottle, you're going to put it over the yolk, and you're going to suck it up. And that will pull out the egg yolk. How easy is that? So this is an easy way to hack eating eggs if you want the egg whites and to know if they're fresh or not and to extend the life of them. One more hack I want to show you doesn't have to do with eggs, but a lot of people find it to be a problem when they're cooking and they don't have enough space for all of their ingredients, cutting board, and cooking up their food. So one hack that you can do is take your cutting board, open your drawer, and place the cutting board on top. Now this leaves you the room on top of your counter to do your cooking, and you can do your cutting right next to you. This saves space and opens up room in your kitchen. So thank you again for joining me for Time Hack Tuesdays, and I'll see you again next week.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Dr. Stephen Favaloro from Forest Park Animal Hospital, and we're going to talk about pet emergencies.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Doc, when I chopped the tip of my finger off with the hedge clippers, I just wrapped a rag around it and I drove to the emergency room and they took care of me.
Right.
Now, if you have a pet that gets sick or has an accident, you can't bring them to Big Med.
Well,
you got to bring them somewhere. Maybe it's in the middle of the night. Who knows? Where do you go with a sick pet in the middle of the night?
Well, and that's the thing about Bay County. There's not a 24-hour emergency veterinary service for the general public. So there is on the weekends. So Animal Care Center on the beach, they will take call for all of Bay County, if you will, from Friday like after 5:30 till Monday morning at 8. But that still leaves you Monday through Thursday with no emergency service for the general public. So as a veterinarian, we are required by law to provide 24-hour emergency service for our clients.
Okay, so if my dog is a patient of yours, I can call you up and you'll see me.
Absolutely.
Or my dog.
Correct. Well,
Sandy, the famous Sandy.
I've never had a dog drive themselves to my clinic, so I have to usually see you too.
That's true.
Now
I've caught them playing poker, but I've never seen them drive a car.
So the problem is that if you don't have an established veterinarian, then within the confines of the law, they legally don't have to see you. So I know that sounds harsh, but there are people who won't do that, and you can't blame them sometimes because the problem is you've been working all day. You've been at work since 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, your veterinarian's a busy guy.
You don't get out until 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. You go home to your family, and you get a call. So you go home. I mean, you go to the clinic. It's 10 o'clock. You don't get home till 1. Everybody's in bed. You miss dinner. And then you wake up and you do it again. And you do it again and again and again. So
and even people who aren't clients or patients of yours will call you.
Absolutely,
because they'll just look up the nearest veterinarian.
Right, and and the kind-hearted person in you, the reason you became a veterinarian, makes you consciously obligated to go. But what it does, it robs you from your family.
Right.
So makes you Some people just I can't do it. Because you're not a client of mine. So But if you have an established veterinarian, then they have to see you. So what we do to kind of preserve our sanity is we have a group of 4 of us, and we rotate call throughout the week. So
so you kind of share that.
Right. So me and 3 other clinics, and so like I'll take call every Monday for all of us. So you might have an increased work burden that day, but then I'm not have to take call again until the next Monday.
Oh, that's good.
But for the general public, if you don't have an established veterinarian and you call, most of us will have an emergency service that takes the calls, and they'll screen you. And if you don't have a veterinarian, then you're gonna end up having to go to Dothan or Tallahassee,
wow,
or Niceville.
Well, you should have an established veterinarian. I mean, if you have a pet, you should be making vet visits.
You say that,
Yeah.
but interestingly, I was talking to someone yesterday, and she said, "Oh, I've been looking for a vet." I was like, "Okay, what kind of dog you have?" She's like, "I don't know. I think it's a pit bull mix." I'm like, "That's cool." I said, "How long have you had it for?" She's like, 2 years. So it's a stray that came up, so she became attached to the dog, but it hadn't seen a vet in 2 years. So what happens if that dog gets sick? Vomiting, diarrhea. It gets an emergency, which we will talk about on the next segment. What actually constitutes an emergency?
Yeah.
Then she might be in trouble.
Yeah.
Where she has to drive, and if it's one of those that needs help now.
That would be the first thing I would do if I were to pick up a stray. Would be bring it to the vet right away, have them
Right.
checked out, see they're not wormy or whatever, because you don't want them running around your house with diseases and all. But I guess some people just like, I've been feeding him, he's mine now.
Right, absolutely. Or a lot of it you'll see with cats. They don't really own the cat. The cat they've been feeding it for a while. They see it's sick. Oh, I need to bring it to the emergency room.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have an established veterinarian.
Wow.
So that can be tough. And so most veterinarians will go in, but most of the time you don't get the veterinarian, you get the emergency service.
Yeah, geez. Dr. Stephen Favaloro, thanks so much for getting us smart on this, because, I guess the best recommendation is to, have an established veterinarian, and you won't run into this problem.
Well, that's not always true. Well, the problem is not having a vet.
Not having a vet, yeah.
The emergencies happen regardless.
And we'll talk about that more next week.
Very good.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Ivan Garza from Bay County Animal Services and Rary.
That's right.
Now, Rary looks a lot like a previous guest we had by the name of Cam. I mean, almost identical.
Yep. This is Cam's little brother. We found him and Cam roaming around Bay County Jail, and they came in as strays.
I know we were talking to Joe last week about Cam, and I guess the guys at the jail were feeding him and sort of kind of taking care of him.
Yeah, we set traps. The dogs wouldn't go in the traps because they were feeding them.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we were able to get them.
Yeah.
So.
And actually, Cam has a home now, I heard.
Exactly. Cam was seen on the show last week, and he was adopted Saturday.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad he has a home. Now his little brother here, Rary, which is short for Ferrari.
Correct.
I guess. I would just call him Enzo. But, okay, so Rary here, I noticed when he walked in, he kind of has a strange walk. And it looks like he had some sort of broken leg or something.
Yes, his front left leg here.
Yeah.
Looks like it was definitely broken, and we found a BB right here in his left hind leg. So we're thinking he might have been shot, and that might have broken his leg. But
So he had a broken leg. He's got a BB still in him. But he seems like a nice little fella. I mean, he's pretty mild-mannered.
Oh, he's awesome. He'll love on you no matter what. He follows you around. As soon as he realizes you're the one holding the leash, he doesn't want to let, he doesn't
You're
want
his new best friend.
Exactly.
Whoever's on the other end of that leash. Well, he looks like a really nice guy. And just like all the dogs at Bay County Animal Services, he's been neutered?
He hasn't been neutered yet. However, if someone would like to adopt him, the $25 fee covers everything. Covers his shots, covers his microchip, and it covers him being neutered.
Oh, okay. So if you want to adopt him, you guys will give him the works and then send him off like a gentleman to a new home.
Exactly.
Okay, well, a gentleman who's been neutered. There is such a thing. But, it's important to spay and neuter your animals, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's very important. It helps keep stray populations down. It helps with not having animals accidentally get hit on the side of the road, stuff like that.
Or getting shot by BBs, or
Exactly.
having broken legs, or just suffering like that. But now he seems like he's very content now, and all he needs is a nice, quiet home to live out the rest of his years here. He's a beautiful little dog and super
Absolutely.
friendly. And Ivan, I thank you very much for bringing him in. And if someone wants to adopt him, what do we do?
Well, all they got to do is come down to the shelter. Again, there's a very quick application process. After that, it's a $25 adoption fee. Then he'll be sent out to Operation Spay Bay to get neutered.
So if we want to come out and meet him, we just call 747-3333, set up an appointment, or just show up.
You can just show up, absolutely.
Or go to the website and learn more about him.
The website, baycountyfl.gov.
baycountyfl.gov.
Correct.
Ivan, thanks so much for bringing Rari in.
Don, thanks for having us.
And I hope he finds a home just like his brother did.
Absolutely, that's what we're hoping for.
That's awesome. Remember, always spay and neuter your dogs and cats and animals, and we'll see you next time.